Time is our weekly conversation on matters of faith, and joining us this morning is Pastor Wayne Miller with Grace Lutheran Church in Mobile. Thank you for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the 4th of July just passed us by. We wanted to talk about really the separation of church and state. As a pastor, how do you interpret what that means?
Well, it's one of the greatest blessings that this nation was founded on was the freedom of religion. The freedom to worship who you want, when you want, where, and how you want. And to have that and to live in a nation that allows that is such a blessing that comes. And as a citizen of the United States and as a pastor, but first as a Christian, we live in both realms of the church and the state. We need to be responsible for my faith as a Christian first, and then a voting citizen of the United States.
So the First Amendment of the Constitution kicks off with forbidding Congress from establishing a religion. So why is that significant?
Right away, all of a sudden in the First Amendment, you have the government restricting any kind of interference into the state, into the church. We have the establishment of the Congress, they shall make no law that respects the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof, according to the First Amendment. So we have the separation of church and state all of a sudden already, but it's really a one-way streak. It's really a one-way restriction that the government doesn't interfere with the church. Not so much that the church can't influence the state, but definitely right away the state does not interfere with the church.
So where does that concept of separation of church and state really come from?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's such a common term for us. It doesn't show up in the Constitution. It doesn't show up, the term separation of church and state, in the Declaration of Independence. The term was penned from Thomas Jefferson, our third president. The Danbury Baptists at the time of President Jefferson's inauguration were concerned about the government interference with them. The Danbury Baptists were a religious minority, Christian group in the country. They were concerned about government interference. Thomas Jefferson assured them and promised them before his inauguration that there will be a wall of separation, quote, wall of separation from us, the government, interfering with the faith of the Danbury Baptists.
So from your perspective, what do you see as the defined roles of state and the church?
The state and the church are made up of two realms that we live in. We are created beings according to our Declaration of Independence, and as created beings, we're physical beings, mental beings, emotional beings, and spiritual beings. You take one of those entities away, I believe that the entire being of the human race falls away and collapses. So you have the state, who is responsible for the law and order of our physical lives, and you also then have the church, which is responsible for our faith lives, our mercy, our forgiveness, the love of God that comes from Him.
So what are some arguably healthy examples of a faith influencing a state?
I'll give a twofold answer on this, Chad. Number one, we as the church should and always help in the physical life of the government. Sure, the government, the state, helps in the welfare of the people, the defense of the people. We can play a role in easing the burden off of the government by helping the poor, hospitals, orphanages, and the church has always had a history with that. Also, though, most importantly, I believe that religion can serve as the conscience of a nation. When a nation is so blessed with all that we have, if we take God out of that, His ethics, His morals, His guidance, we lose our blessings. And I believe that religion can serve as the conscience of a nation on top of everything else that the state and the church can offer. I don't look at ourselves, Chad, as a wall of separation. It's more of a friendly, neighborly picket fence.
That's a great way to think about it. It's a topic that we talk about a lot in the news and society. Pastor Wayne Miller with Grace Lutheran Church, thank you for joining us for this edition of Faith Time. And News 5 this morning will continue after the break.